So as you can see, the quality of this PNG is really terrible, right? We're gonna write a macro that actually saves the act of drawing as a PNG, but as a high quality PNG by increasing the DPI settings. Where do I find that DPI settings? It's under Tools, Options, and then scroll all the way down, go to Export. And in the Export section here, open this drop down and then go to TIFF, PSD, JPEG, and PNG, and you can see that we can change the DPI settings setting here to increase it, and we'll choose the highest value possible. And then as we do that, we're gonna end up with a higher quality PNG. Now, the idea behind this video has been kind of like shared with me from our friend Too Tall Toby. Check him out. He has a lot of awesome content on LinkedIn and on YouTube, and he runs these design challenges. I'm gonna put the link in the description of this video to his content. Awesome stuff, very entertaining content. So back to our video, back to our VBA macro. I'm gonna change this DPI setting. Now this is enabled because we have the setting of the capture set to print capture. So if I click on screen capture, this gets disabled. Just make sure that you have your print capture selected. So I'm going to click on OK. And then we can actually set this. We can just keep this as in by default, as in screen capture, and then we'll be able to switch this over or change this from the API. So pretty simple macro that we're going to write. It's going to work off the active document. We're going to check if the active document actually exists first of all, and then check if the active document is a drawing, and then we'll do a few things to make sure that we have a really good print or a good view of the drawing. Right now it's not zoom to fit, so we'll make sure that we have a zoom to fit on the drawing, and then we'll just go in and change this to print capture, and then once that gets changed to print capture, we'll change the DPI here to the highest value possible, and then click OK, and then do a save as, right? So let's click on OK here, and then go back to the VBA editor. And if you don't have this on, just go to Tools, Macro, and then click a new one, click on New, and then once you click on New, you'll be prompted to save your macro into a location on your system. Just save it on your desktop, whatever location you desire, and then it will prompt you this editor with some code. You can just delete that code because we're gonna write this thing from scratch. All right, how do we start? No, actually, before we start, if you actually want the code and you're not interested in seeing me write this thing, then there will be a link in the description of this video to our GitHub that has the entire code to this macro. But if you're interested in watching, then stick along. We'll go through this macro together. All right, I'll start by doing a variable declaration. So we'll start with the SW_app variable, and this variable is going to hold a pointer to the SOLIDWORKS application, and then we'll just define a second variable here called model_doc as model_doc2. So this will hold the document. And then we'll just define another variable here called SW_model_doc_extension, a mouthful, as model_doc_extension. And this will help us do one single command that has to do with making sure that the manager, the feature manager, is actually hidden. So, and then finally here we can, I think, start our subroutine by typing sub. So in this area here, this is where our code will execute. So I'll start with setting the SW_app. So set SW_app equal application .SOLIDWORKS, and this pretty much is going to tell the VBA engine, hey, give me a pointer to the SOLIDWORKS application. It will give us that pointer, and then from that we'll just set the SW model equal to the SW_app.active document, and that will get us a pointer to the active document if there is an active document. So we need to make that check, right? So if SW model is nothing, then we don't have an active document. So in that case, we're going to exit the execution of this subroutine. And before we do that, we'll just tell the user, hey, you don't have an active document. So this operation requires an active document. And then we'll do the same thing. Now, we want to make sure that the active document is actually a drawing. So we'll verify that with the method getType that's part of the model.to interface, and getType returns an enum that's called SW document types, right? And we want to make sure that the type is an actual drawing. So if the type is not a drawing, we can exit the execution of our subroutine, and we can change this error message to be this operation requires an active drawing. Now that we have a drawing, we can start by hiding the feature manager. So let's type in hide feature manager as a comment, and then I'm going to set that model so SW model doc extension will be equal to SW model dot extension, and then there's a method in the SW model doc extension, wow, that's a mouthful, called hide feature manager. Oops, hide feature manager. We'll set that to true, and finally we'll just do a zoom to fit on the drawing. So we'll do that using the method view zoom to fit to, and this method exists in the model.to interface. Right, I've got some notes here in my other window, so if you guys see me looking to my left, I'm just looking here at my notes just to help me keep me on track here. So first thing what we need to do is to change the capture method, right? And that capture method, we need to change it to print. So let's do change capture method to print. And then we'll do that with a method called set user preference integer. And we're looking to set the value, or that setting is called preference user preference integer value dot, and the setting that we want to change is called swtiff screen or print, and we want to set this to 1 because 1 will enable the print option. Now that we have that on, we can just go and then change the TPI to 2880. So we'll do the same thing here. And then we'll just change this to swtiff DPI. We'll change that value to 228. And then finally, prompt the user the save as dialog. And then that will be swapp.run command, right? And the command that we are looking to run is called sw commands. Nope, it's not. 2D to 3D. I think it's called save as. And then the new title, just specify an empty value here. All right. Now, this is going to override the SolidWorks settings. So we can always get before we set the user preference integer, we can actually save the old value into a variable and then reset it once we're done with our changing the settings. So actually let's do that. So we can do that here with the print. So let's define a variable here called dim print or capture as long, and then we'll do print or capture equals to swapp get user preference integer value underscore e, and then it's gonna scream on me, but then I'll just click on OK, and then I'll just tell it that I'm looking to get that value. So get user preference integer. So all right, I think we've made a mistake here. and then we need to get user preference. Integer value is the method, right? And then the user preference value is this enum that we just used to set the user preference. We're just using it to get. And then what we do is that we copy this and then we paste it towards the end. We'll add a comment here called restore original value or original values, right? And then we'll just copy paste this print to, oops, here. And then we'll just do the same for the DPI. And then we'll just copy paste this as well. Call this DPI, and then it's a user. It's another integer value, so it will be copy the swtif print DPI. All right, and then that will reset the value of the DPI back to its original. So copy paste this here. All right, we can put a breakpoint here, and I'm gonna execute this on my other window. So I have put a breakpoint at the level of swmodel dot view zoom to fit, and I'm gonna click on this green button just to start the execution. So I'll do that on my other window. And I'll press F8 just to step it line by line. So at this point, we've already hidden the feature tree, and then, or the feature manager. And then if I do F8 here, all right, that has a good zoom to fit. I get the value of the print, which is 0. And then I get the value of the DPI, which is 50. So if I were to bring my VBA editor here, so the original value is 0, the DPI is 50. We're going to change those here in a minute. And then we're going to set the value, and then we're going to run the save as command. And now let's choose PNG, and then go to the options just to check one last time that we've actually been successful in sending this to print. And then, whoops, let me scroll down. Change this to DPI of 2880. All right, we're gonna click OK. And let's save this baby, right? I'm gonna override the fidget spinner.png and click on yes. And this will take a second here. Because the image quality is pretty high, so it takes a second to process the image. Eventually it does, and then we'll just open it up when it's done. Alrighty, let's just go back. And as you can see, even the image size is huge now. So if I double click on it, it takes forever to open, but it's the quality is just fantastic. Awesome. And then if I go back to SolidWorks and I inspect my settings, we go to options and then export. And then go to, yeah, my settings are returned back to the original value. Fantastic. Awesome. Well, if you like this video, make sure to like us on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on LinkedIn. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.